Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Bench's Book Reviews. What's in the box today? We have... Oops, almost dropped it. This delightful character. It's called Tootles the Taxi and Other Rhymes, and it's by, I believe, compiled by Lynne Bradbury and illustrated by James Hodgson. Now, this is not a story as such, rather it's a series of rhymes, as indicated by the title. So here we go, and I believe I have read this before, so I can already reveal that it's about a series of vehicles, and they're all have names, such as Tootles, and they're all drawn to have faces. As you see, the headlights here look a bit like eyes. So let's go. And there's a picture on every page, so I will also be looking at the pictures. I'll probably read the whole thing, it's not enormously long. May comment on some more than others. Here we go. I'm Tootles the Taxi, that's the eponymous Tootles. I'll give you a ride. Put up your hand, then jump inside. Just watch the meter, you'll see the fare. Distance no object, I go anywhere. And there we have someone putting up their hand for Tootles. That's nice, matches. There's a sketchy bloke with a pipe looking out the window. He's not mentioned in the poem. And you can see there's Tootles and one of Tootles' other taxi friends, and they're kind of looking at each other with their headlights. Beautiful. It's one of these old-fashioned British taxis, I guess. I think this is British Ladybird. Okay, I'm Bertie the bus. I go from stop to stop, carrying the people to their work or to a shop. Up and down the streets I go through wind and in the rain, and back home to my garage when the night time comes again. Now Bertie looks quite sad. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's Bertie looking a bit unhappy. That must be the wind and the rain causing his distress. There is somebody with an umbrella as well. Shadowy character there. So I suppose it is raining. You can also, the way it's drawn here, looks like it's puddly. And possibly these wipers are also in wiping position. I'm not sure what the resting position of a bus's windscreen wipers is. There we have it. Not sure about this bus. And the bus stop would appear to be here, this pink thing. And if we're in Britain, then it would be on the left side. But this looks a bit like a door. And some people will tell you that buses don't have a door on the opposite side. So that could be causing some confusion. Unless it's a... I don't know. And there's Bertie anyway. You'll notice probably Tootles the Taxi and Bertie the Bus. I think these vehicle names are going to alliterate quite often. Let's see. This one kind of does. I'm Archie the Ambulance. Both start with A, even though they're different sounds. By my siren you can tell. And I've bandages all ready. A stretcher as well. That's all ready, not already. Straight from the hospital or into the town, to someone who's sick or just been knocked down. Oh yes, there's Archie. Not quite sure why straight from the hospital or into the town. You could go straight from the hospital into the town. But anyway, that's quite nice. Looks a bit cross, Archie. Yeah, and Archie and Ambulance don't exactly alliterate. And by my siren you can tell, I guess you can tell the difference between ambulance siren and a police siren, fire engine siren. I guess that's the thing they're saying there. You really can. One of them probably goes Nina and the other one kind of goes ooh, ooh, ooh or something. I suppose. I'm Henry the Helicopter. There he is. Flying up high, my big shiny rotor blades going round in the sky. From here I see traffic jams, accidents too, and over my radio I tell the police what to do. Well, that's quite good, isn't it? There's looking down, Henry. You'll notice we've had 4 boys' names so far. Tootles, I guess, I don't know if Tootles is a boy or a girl, actually. It's not. But Bertie, Archie, and Henry. Maybe we'll get a girl vehicle next. I'm Tony, no, the tip-up truck. On building sites I'm found, tipping out my load of sand in big heaps on the ground. Sometimes it's some timber. A lot of T's in this. I take along the road, but always I'm carrying a big and heavy load. Well, that one reused vocabulary a lot more than the other one. No, yeah, tipping out my load of sand, big and heavy load. Yeah, tip-up truck, tipping out my load of sand. Not sure. There's Tony anyway. There's some tea drinking individuals. That one's waving at the illustrator, which is nice. And he looks a bit unhappy, that builder. It's not easy building stuff. How good your tip-up truck is. Yeah, they're quite interesting illustrations. Lots of little details in them if you want to look for them. And here's a girl. She's even got, as you often see in children's books, big eyelashes and I guess you would say painted lips, like bigger lips, visible lips. I'm Mabel, the motor coach, off on my way, with holiday makers all out for the day. Hear them all laughing and singing a tune, not far to travel, we'll be there quite soon. Well, that's kind of odd that Mabel, the motor coach, doesn't go far to travel, whereas the taxi says distance no object. And you would have thought a motor coach going on a day trip would at least could go quite some distance for holiday makers, but maybe it only does closer excursions. The motor coach you'll see has the door on that side, like I would have expected the bus to have. And they're visiting some sort of equestrian statue. I'm not sure if that's anyone in particular. Rearing up on that horse. The dash here is longer than the dash on the others. If you look closely, that is probably what you would call an M dash after not far to travel. Whereas here, accidents 2 is space and probably an N dash if it's the same font. That is a bit unusual. I expect they just accidentally didn't put the space there. I think normally they do space N dash. Yeah, Bertie the bus, space N dash. Actually, I mean, it's all over the place here. I mean, well, no, they're right. But yeah, that's a bit weird on Mabel. Not sure why she has such a long dash. Contrasts with not far to travel as well. If it's not far, then it should be a smaller dash. But I don't know. Next one's bicycle. I'm Billy the bicycle. They all start I'm, do they? So they're quite consistent in that. Not moving fast. There's traffic in front that I cannot pass. So I'll just be safe and enjoy the ride as I go down the road, keeping close to the side. They've managed to get the face of the bicycle on the reflector there, which is quite well done. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's moving very fast. He's even got time to bid good day to these cat owners here. So that's good. That's a very, I'll be safe, close to the side, not trying to overtake any traffic. That's a very clear message in that one. Some of the less some of them don't have such a clear message as that one. That's what I'm trying to say. Less preachy, I think is what I was trying to say. I'm Kathy the car, so that's another girl. And again, they've given the girl slightly thick eyelashes. I A bright, shiny blue, and you'd be surprised at the things I can do. I carry 5 people, I'll be 2 in the front, 3 in the back, with luggage besides, and everyone says, that was a nice ride. That's not particularly surprising for a car, but I guess she's quite proud of herself. She's bright blue. I quite like the way they have other people there watching. Like there's someone on the steps with a mop and bucket saying goodbye to the family as they go off on their nice ride. Looks like they're going on quite the holiday there. This guy's got a fishing net. They're probably going lots of suitcases. I'm Boris the Bulldozer. I know my worth. When I get to work, I soon move the earth. So powerful am I that no one can say I don't earn my rest at the end of the day. And there he is resting. That's not, he's having a nap. His eyes are closed. And there he is. He doesn't look not happy there. It's hard work. He's got slightly red cheeks. It suggests that he's working hard. He's very powerful though, so I'm sure he can manage. This builder looks very similar to the one here who was working with the tip-up truck. This hard-hatted individual could even be that one from up there, although there he's clambering up on ladders without his hard hat. In fact, none of them wearing hard hats at the timber yard. Or if that's meant to be, these are iron girders of some sort. And yet when it's earth, he does have a hat on. Maybe he's been promoted to hat-wearing supervisor. He seems to have a shovel, which doesn't seem necessary if you've got a guy with a big bulldozer there. But maybe they're just maybe have to do little bits of shoveling for small amounts of earth that are not worth Boris's time or effort. I'm Mickey the motorbike. They've just kind of drawn the face on the windshield thing there. Off to the track. I go at great speed and I never look back. I guess he goes at great speed at the track. You wouldn't have to break any speed limits on public highways. For I'm a racer. I'm one of the best. I win lots of races, north, south, east and west. Well, it's kind of interesting. I guess he takes part in some sort of national league. I don't really know how motor racing is organised, but maybe they have meets at different racetracks all over the country. And he does seem to have won a race. Look, he's got a trophy, or at least this driver, presumably that's Mickey's rider, is being applauded by a suit-wearing gentleman, who presumably isn't one of the other riders. It's not very suitable motor racing gear. Never look back is nice, because you actually don't have a rear view mirror on a motorbike, I don't think. Can't even see any wing mirrors. Although, presumably, when you're racing, the driver has to do a bit of this, but maybe the bike itself doesn't. There we go. I'm Trevor the Train. One of my middle names is Trevor. And I'm on the right track. I take people on holiday and bring them back. Whatever I carry, I speed down the line. Wherever the station, I get there on time. That's another holiday focus here. Because transport can obviously be used for lots of things. I mean, in fact, this guy here, his briefcase, looks more like he's off to work rather than on holiday. But the train was going on holiday, implicitly the car with the fishing net boy was going on holiday. You had Mabel the motor coach with her holiday makers. Even the taxi, distance no object, could suggest either going to a long... It doesn't sound like he's just off to work, does it? Going anywhere, and that the lady, she also has a suitcase. So this is quite the there's quite the emphasis on holiday making. Obviously not all of them. The helicopters just spotting traffic jams and accidents, and the bulldozer's not really going anywhere. But yeah, Trevor seems happy enough. Good that he's on the right track. It's quite nice on the right track. because that's an idiom meaning I'm going the right way, but obviously a train does go on a track, so that's pretty smart. He gets there on time. Well, that's obviously quite an old book. Modern trains are notoriously late. It's in Roman numerals, the date, but I believe that is 1984. First edition, this apparently. First edition. Here we are. I'm Cuthbert the cattle truck. Cuthbert. Although he only has Bert on his number plate, which obviously destroys the alliteration. Steady and slow, taking the animals to win at the show. I'm careful to see that they come to no harm, and drive them back safely to live on the farm. There's a sheep here winning. I don't know if a cattle truck is also... I mean, there's a cow looking out the back of it, or some sort of cattle. But there's a sheep with a rosette for first place. So I'm not sure if cattle trucks also transport sheep. I was going to say ovine animals there. Because like the way ovine and bovine rhyme with each other. Yeah, I really don't know if they're transporting the sheep in the cattle truck or if there's a separate... Surely the sheep truck. But yeah, it's good, steady and slow and being careful. So that's a bit like with the bike one. There's a clear message throughout the whole poem. Drive them back safely. So it's steady, careful, drive them back safely. So you've really basically every line of the poem almost is hammering home this message of safety, which is nice. And the sheep. The cow looks a bit surprised, but the sheep look pretty cheery. Well, one of them's just won first prize, so it's obviously delighted with itself. Now we've got Freddy. I'm Freddy the fire engine, off to a fire. I'll soon put those flames out before they get higher. Flashing through town, sounding siren or bell. I carry the firemen and their hoses as well. I say this is quite an old book, so the word fireman was probably more common than now. Now I believe it's a firefighter. He said he was going to put the flames out before they got higher, but they're pretty high already here. They're really annihilating this building. But I'm sure the firemen are on it. This is another vehicle that looks a bit upset. I don't know, it's just concentrating because it's got an important job to do. I guess it's nice if they're all just grinning inanely, then it might not be good for them. Might not correspond to how serious their task is. Oh, can't remember. Cuthbert was fairly happy. Possibly a little bit nervous. All the livestock. Yes, there's Freddy. It has a siren or a bell. If you'll remember the ambulance, Archie was distinctly recognisable by his siren. So I assume that Freddy has a slightly different sounding siren. I don't know if the same fire engine has sirens and bells. I mean, I know that it's in Trumpton. It's quite an old fire engine. I think it has a bell. I would have thought that the sirens would just replace the bells, but maybe it just uses the bell for low urgency deployments and the siren when it really needs to, or when surrounding area is louder already. So there's more background noise. You need a louder warning signal to make yourself heard. Makes them quite flexible. This firefighter has forgotten his helmet, which doesn't seem like a good idea because they're already driving. I mean, you can see they're in the act of leaving the fire station there. So you should probably be helmeted up. Now we get to Horace. I'm Horace the hovercraft, floating on air. If you want to cross water, then I'll take you there. There meaning the other side of the water. could argue with that if you wanted to. I go very fast until I reach land, then I come off the water straight onto the sand. And seemingly slows down a lot then. There's an interesting picture here. It seems to be of a customs officer. I don't know if hovercrafts are the smuggler's vehicle of choice, or if this is just a regulation check at a standard port. But you'd think that a hovercraft might be more flexible in where it could land or cross the water, because it can go on land and water. Straight onto the sand, yes. But this customs guy seems to have caught him with some dodgy watches and bottles of booze. I'm not sure why they've drawn this enormous, I guess that's meant to be a seagull in the foreground. I mean, we've had people like the builder and people in the foreground, but it's a very terrifying bird. And there's another one. Maybe just to emphasise that the coast, which is known for terrifying gulls. I don't know how in use hovercrafts actually are. I've never been on one, I don't think. I'm Tommy the Tractor. I work on the land. That's land, meaning farmland. And it's kind of shorthand for. It doesn't just mean the ground. The farmer is busy, and I give him a hand. Oh, a metaphorical hand. He doesn't have any hands. We dig the hard earth, making all our lines straight, and often we're working until it's quite late. There's hard-working farmer with his hands in his pockets. And Tommy, can't really see exactly what he's pulling behind him. It says it's digging the hard earth. It's just a plough or something. Farmer's known for getting up early, so Tommy's farm would assume very committed if he's also working late. Unless he neglects his early morning duties, but I doubt it. I expect he does both. Yeah, and that's it says till it's quite late, and if you look, there's a slightly rose tint to the sky, so you can see the sun's starting to set. That's very. I mean, most of these, you can tell that whoever drew the pictures has read the rhyme beforehand. I match, and I mean, I don't suppose they draw a picture and then write a rhyme to match. That would surprise me rather. I'm Terry the Tanker. Terry can be a boy or a girl, but judging by the lack of eyelashes, it's probably a boy, Terry. Some sort of milk tanker, gas tanker, I'm not sure. So heavy and slow, filled up to the top and all ready to go. When streets are narrow, I slow down my rate, because I'm so clumsy and carry such weight. I don't know if clumsy is the right word. I mean, these tankers don't often have accidents, do they? It's already slow, and then slows down even more when the streets are narrow. But yeah. So that's what they're focusing on that one anyway, the slow, clumsy tanker. Causing quite the jam actually, if you look at the picture, quite like that. There are at least two vehicles behind it, you can see. One, even the driver of this one, there are lots of these little details, you can't really see it, but they're kind of like trying to look around the tanker to see if it will be possible to overtake it in the near future. It might be a petrol tanker actually. There's a clue here that there's a bit of a petrol station, so maybe it's a petrol tanker rather than milk. Oh, police car now. It's another siren one. I'm Patrick the police car. I help to keep the law. A man rang the police station about a funny noise next door. Now my lights are flashing. I'm racing round a bend. There may have been some burglars, and we'll catch them in the end. Well, it's quite an honest description of what a police car does. Because catching them in the end, that's saying that even though they're racing around a bend, I'm certainly not going to catch the burglar in the act. I mean, then you've had to change the rhyme Just something that rhymes with act. But yeah, so they're going to get there. There may have been some burglars. They have to look around, gain evidence, talk to people, and then it's optimistic that they'll catch them. I don't think there's a very good capture rate for burglars. Though this burglar does look quite worried. He seems to have heard the police car, but he seems to be able... He's already got his swag, so he's scampering off. Here's another one that looks cross. Patrick, grumpy. Doesn't like having to go chasing after burglars. Mentions the flashing lights now, no siren. Though I imagine there's a picture of a blue siren thing on the top. Though it's a light, isn't it? No audio siren is what I mean. Is the light also called a siren? Don't know. Don't think so. Pretty sure sirens are supposed to be sound. So yeah. Wonder if they will catch that burglar. Probably. Patrick thinks so. Although it might not be Patrick that's involved then, I suppose. Might get handed off to some other officer and his vehicle. But we probably just means we, the police force. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go on some sort of high-speed chase. It sounds more like playing the long game. Maybe there'll be a couple of other break-ins. A lot of these burglars, repeat offenders. I'm Susie the Scooter, another girl, more eyelashes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making it clear who's a boy and who's a girl vehicle, I suppose. But for eyelashes, the best way you can do it. Why not? Bet they're making all the girl ones bright pink or something. And I'm off to the shop. Someone else was off to a shop. Was that Bertie? I think so. I'm shop with stop. I think Bertie did. Did he? Stop to their work or to a shop. And this one used the same rhyme. Ooh. My basket can carry all we buy when we stop. Actually, that's the first repeat rhyme in the whole thing. First one I've really noticed. I'm a pleasure to park. Much easier to park a scooter than a bus. And quite easy to run. And riding me, everyone says, is such fun. Everyone says that. I don't know if it's one of these... I don't think in 1984 they had all this vehicle sharing you get in these days. But if everyone says that riding Susie is fun, then maybe there are several members of the household who ride her. That's possible. I quite like this again because it talks about being a pleasure to park. It's parked right in front of the shop. It's very convenient. Presumably you wouldn't be able to park a larger car there. And this one riding, so you get lots of connections to the text. It's one that doesn't go on holiday though. The scooter, I expect, isn't allowed on motorways. Probably doesn't have a high enough top speed. So unless you're doing a very local holiday, probably can't use Susie. I'm Tubby, the little tugboat. Tubby's an unusual name. Maybe that's reference to Tubby's shape. Working in a port, and though I'm only very small, I pull ships of every sort, tugging them and steering them safely out to sea. And though these ships are very grand, each one of them needs me. Well, that's another one with quite a nice clear message saying that the little guys needed to help the big guys. The line space is a bit odd on this one. I think they've got the margins a bit too narrow and they keep on very small. You think they could have fitted that in there, and same here. Them could have fitted that in there potentially. And Tubby is a bit of an odd name. Most of them just have regular normal names. Susie, Patrick, Tommy. But there you go. Tubby's quite proud of himself, I think. Yeah, I'll be a boy. And then this is the last one. I'm Jerry, which seems to be a boy, Jerry. Jerry the jet plane, getting ready to fly. I'll be roaring down the runway, then up into the sky. I'll fly through fluffy clouds with all my engines humming, and I'll radio the airport to tell them that I'm coming. It's a nice rhyme. Humming and coming. And that's another radio. Like, oh, Henry the helicopter had a radio. Seems that airborne vehicles often communicate with people on the ground using radios. Very nice. Oh, and there's a picture of all the animals. First edition, that, so I'm not going to moan too much about the M dash. That probably should have been an N dash. That sort of thing will probably get caught for the second edition and corrected. Nice use of eyelashes to distinguish the girl vehicles. I like the way not all the vehicles were smiling. I think it shows that it's not always easy being a vehicle. You have to work hard and get driven around. Some of them were like nicer than others. I like Trevor being on the right track. That was quite a clever turn of phrase. I quite like the fact that the police were not being presented as actually able to prevent burglaries. Yeah, and I quite like the ones that were very much like safety first on your bike. You know, it's a good message for the readers to heed. So that was pretty nice, that one. I mean, it is a classic. You may have heard of it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and see you next time on Mr. Bench's Book Reviews.